Silence is complicity. And in the face of terror, we cannot be quiet. That is why we are all here today, to speak about unspeakable acts. On October 7th, Hamas brutally murdered 1,200 souls. And in some cases, they first raped their victims. We know this from eyewitnesses. We know this from combat paramedics. We would know this from some victims if more had been allowed to live. Maybe then one would be standing beside me right here to state something that should not need to be stated. Rape should never be used as an act of war. This truth must be upheld despite the politics of our time, because no matter what marches you are attending, what flag you are flying, what religion you practice, or if you practice none at all, there is one thing we can all agree on. There are exactly no circumstances that justify rape. Rape is targeted. Rape is terror. Rape is torture. But until recently, wartime rape was largely tolerated. If you think over our history, throughout the history of man, women's bodies were just considered part of the spoils of war. It wasn't until 30 years ago, when the mass sexual violence of the former Yugoslavia, Rwanda, the DRC, caused global women's organizations and human rights organizations to speak up. And in these halls where we are today, change happened. In 1993, the UN Security Council created the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia with an unprecedented commitment to prosecute rape as a crime against humanity. The next year, that same commitment was brought to the tribunal for Rwanda, and it has been seen many times since. None of these efforts have done enough to prevent wartime rape, not even close. But real progress has been made. That is why this moment is so critical. We have come so far in establishing that rape is a crime against humanity, and we have come so far in believing survivors of sexual assault in so many situations. That's why the silence on these war crimes is dangerous. It threatens to undo decades of progress, to undo an entire movement. The world has to decide who to believe. Do we believe the Hamas spokesperson who said that rape is forbidden, therefore it couldn't have possibly happened on October 7th? Or do we believe the women whose bodies tell us how they spent the last minutes of their lives? Who are we going to believe? Today, a new generation gathers. We gather in these same halls to reclaim our communal voice. I call on all women's organizations, every single one, every woman, every man, to unite by speaking out about these atrocities. This is as true when it's happening in Israel as in Ukraine, Ethiopia, Sudan, in any country. I especially call upon global political leaders to step up. We need to hear your voices saying loudly and clearly, rape is unacceptable. And then we need those words backed up with action. It's inexcusable when those who have the capacity to make a difference don't. We call upon the entire UN to formally condemn Hamas for these rapes, make sure there is a full and fair investigation, and hold the terrorists accountable. The ground we have gained in protecting women was hard fought. It needs to be built upon, not lost. For over a decade, I've been urging women to lean in. Now I call on everyone to speak out. And if the world isn't listening to us, we're just going to have to speak louder. anyone who has a mother, a sister, a daughter, a wife, or a friend should join us to unite against rape. This goes beyond politics. If we can't agree that rape is wrong, then we have accepted the unacceptable. Then the question will be not what is happening in the Middle East, but what is happening to our humanity.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.